ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Thursday, February 22nd. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. We're going to get your text in this hour at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Where do we begin today? We got a lot to get into. Yesterday was a disappointing loss for the Thundering Herd. Not only was it a loss dropping you out of any chance, I think, of getting in one of those top four spots. Let's be realistic. That was a long shot anyway. A lot of things needed to happen. Marshall was still in contention for that 4 spot. And I think that slipped away now. 3 games to go. I don't think Marshall has a realistic shot unless a lot of things happen. I just don't see the stars aligning for Marshall. But that's okay. Marshall's still in the tournament. Get to go to Pensacola. You get to compete in the Sun Belt Conference tournament. That's fine. There's that hope. There's that shot. Everything's still there. I'll be that optimistic voice for just a second. Yeah, it's still there. There's that hope. Going into the tournament, though, you want to go in strong. Marshall has not gone in strong. If you win the last 3 games, you might have a little momentum, but you get App State coming up. And, of course, the Thundering Herd losing last night to JMU by 26 points, 84-58. That doesn't scream momentum. That doesn't scream we've got it going, we're ready to go. There were a lot of things that we can take away from that game. Poor shooting from the three-point line. Obina Anachili killing last night, who's doing his impression of John Cena, because I really didn't see him out there. There's so much we can talk about. And we'll get into that with you this hour, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. I want to touch on that in the next few minutes. Also, we've got women's basketball to get into. The Thundering Herd 20-6 now, 13-1 in league play. Get another win, you can clinch a share of the division, the championship in the regular season. You can clinch that. If you keep winning, you can just win it right out. And I hope that's what the Herd does. Just win that thing right out. No sharing anything. This is Marshall's regular season championship. But a good win against Texas State, 85-59. And then Kim comes on her postgame. And, I love Kim. I really do, because I don't know when she's happy. I think when the season's over and Marshall's accomplished a lot of its goals, maybe then she'll be a little happy. Hey, Kim, you won the regular season championship. That's great. I don't like how we got there. What happens when, Coach, you won the tournament? Yeah, we got to work on a few things. It's terrible. I don't like how we looked. Our half-court defense is terrible. I don't like it. We got to work on that. Coach, you won the national championship. What if we had that conversation? Yeah, but our shooting was down. Our shooting was off. I didn't like that. She's always looking to get better. That's what I like about her a lot. She's a coach that's not chasing perfection. She's chasing excellence, and I get that, and I respect that. We can't chase perfection. We can't achieve perfection, but she's definitely going after excellence. And so the women, 20-6 right now, 13-1 in league play. It's been a good run so far. Women's basketball, more than likely the number 1 seed in the conference tournament, and we're going to carry those games. I don't know if you've heard that anywhere just yet, but we're going to have those games. Maybe I'm out of turn by saying that. Maybe it was supposed to be a surprise. Oops, surprise is out. We're going to be carrying those games. So the men will have those games right here, and then the women will have those games as well. Steve Cotton will be doing all the action for us, and we appreciate the legendary voice of the Herd, Steve Cotton. Should be a fun tournament, especially for the women. I hope the men can get it turned around. I truly do. But we've got that to get into. And, of course, other things are happening today. First up, coming on the show here in a little bit, I wanted to make sure we had time to talk a little hoops with you before we talk to her. Abby Herring from the Marshall track team. She won the 5K. How about that? She was third in the 3K with a time of 9:32. In the 5K, she won that, shaved some time off her previous mark. She ran it in 16 minutes and 6 seconds. That's a new meet and school record. She brings home the gold there. So I told Abby we'd like to have her back. If she won, we'd like to have her back, period. But she won, so that was a great excuse for us to get the invitation out and ask her. And she said yes, so she's coming back on. We'll talk to her and celebrate her accomplishments. So I'm looking forward to that. That's coming up at 5:30. Now, the other things I want to get into today, and we'll make time for the Marshall stuff first, but I do want to drift into this when we have some time. First up, the WVSSAC, the football championships in the state of West Virginia, heading to Charleston. There were some strong bids out there, including a bid. It was a joint bid with Marshall University and West Virginia University. You could have had high school football being played, championship games being played on a rotating basis at the two Division I stadiums in the state. Marshall and West Virginia both would have been host locations. It probably would have been a thrill for a lot of these kids. Instead, going to play in Charleston. Not exciting me. Nah. So we'll get into that. I don't know what that decision was about. I thought the idea of being in Huntington and Morgantown would have been the winner. Instead, Charleston wins, and you're going to be playing at a stadium that, yeah, it fits the bill, right? It meets the minimum standard. Doesn't go over the standard, but it meets the standard. I get it, going to be in the state capital. Okay. It hasn't been there since 30 years. It's been a long time. Been in Wheeling. And so I hope that the game grows, but I thought the idea of being in Huntington and Morgantown, playing at the two Division I stadiums in the state of West Virginia, would have been the real thrill, the real treat for these kids. To alternate as well, give these kids an opportunity to hopefully experience either Huntington or Morgantown. Some kids might never play on the Division I stadium turf. They might not. So I sound a little disappointed because I just thought that the idea that, okay, hey, going to play the state championship in Morgantown. Okay, that's great. That's a great place to play. Kids will get a kick out of that. Opportunity to play Mountaineer Field, Milan Puskar Stadium. Opportunity to play at Jones C. Edwards Stadium. That would have been a treat for a lot of kids as well. And hopefully more improvements, renovations, and everything will continue at the stadium to bring it up to spec. New scoreboards being put in. They're always doing something in the shoey. Adding things, trying to work on things. Both stadiums are doing that. So I thought that those were the better options for this. And instead, nope, I'm going to Charleston. And that's fine. At least it's not a long trek. It's a little more centrally located if you want to take a positive from it. But I still like the idea of alternating between Morgantown and Huntington with those two stadiums. That, to me, felt like the better proposal. I would love to honestly get a true read, not just the PR slant, but just, okay, what was it really that made that decision go towards Charleston? What was it really? And of course, staying with college for just a second, today's the big day. Student athletes can opt in today. EA Sports College Football. It's the beginning of the opt-in. What's that entail? What's the details? You remember at O'Bannon, you remember years ago, we had to stop with the game. The game, no longer a thing because of the players should get paid argument, the name, image, and likeness before it was really a thing. You could trace it back to this. here it is. It's back now. It's not licensed by the NCAA, but instead, there will be some licensing firms, and the stadiums are going to be as authentic as possible, and players can opt in if they want. If players don't want to opt in, there will be an avatar for that position. So if you've got a tight end playing at your favorite school that decides, look, I don't want to opt in on this thing, they're going to take a different approach to that. Instead of coming up with numbers that reflect however you grade these players, we don't want to have an avatar that's identical to that player, but instead it'll be a cumulative. So how good has that position been over the last 10 years? Okay, we'll take the 10-year average, and that's how good that position is going to be. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But I'm excited for that opportunity, once again, to take your favorite school. You can take Marshall to the national championship game. You can take West Virginia to the national championship game, or Kentucky or Ohio State. Maybe even the Ohio Bobcats you can take to the national championship game. All the bowls are going to be there as well. The playoff system's going to be there. The Heisman's going to be there. Maybe digital Paul Swann can vote on the digital Heisman. I don't know. We'll get into all of that. But I do want to open up the text line for you, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Hey, wait a minute. Maybe I should get a piece of this. Maybe, hey, look, digital Paul Swann should be a thing in the NCAA game. I'm sorry, the college football game. Can't say NCAA. The college football game. There should be a digital Paul Swann voting for the Heisman. More coming up. Abby Herring's coming up as well. 5:30. Stay tuned for that. This is The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Still to come, Abby Herring going to join us, talk about her championship, Sun Belt Conference Track and Field Championships. She ran the 5K even faster than she did just, a week ago, a few days ago, actually. She ran it faster. She's going to come up on the program here in the next few minutes. We'll talk to her. And, of course, we'll get your text in. We'll do that now, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Look, I'm trying to be in a good mood. I'm trying to have fun today because yesterday was just such a drag. And it was a drag for a lot of you. Last night, if you were with us on our post-game show, and I hope a lot of you were able to join us, it was just a drag because there were a lot of upset, frustrated people. And I get it. Marshall's not performing well as a 26-point loss. Let's go to our text line. Texter says, Paul, I have respect for JMU when former head coach Mickey Matthews won the 1AA national championship. Now, they're a bit uppity. I want to beat them in any sport in any way possible and take them down a notch or two. I get it. They've got swagger right now. That's the thing about their program. They're winning. They expect to win. They want to win. They're consistent. They have some swag about them. They come on the court. They're not afraid of Marshall or anybody. They come in. They expect to win. They came in and they won. They won by 26 last night. Same thing in football. They're expecting to win. They've got more recent success that gives them more reason to have that swagger than Marshall has. Marshall has history, but Marshall doesn't have program swag right now. Why is that? Because what has Marshall accomplished that gives Marshall that swagger? In basketball, in baseball, in any other sport, where is that real swag right now? Now, it's growing. There are a lot of improvements happening. And look at Marshall women's basketball right now. They went from disrespected, I think, by the league. The league didn't know anything about this team. So, Marshall wasn't regarded high. And then look at Marshall on the verge of clinching the regular season championships. There's some swag right there. I think their coach is going to keep their head level. And that's what I like about Kim Caldwell. There's a lot to like about her. She's just so far shown to be an impressive coach, and she has a great handle on the situation. She might not come off as I've got it all together because she comes out and she's pretty much like, I didn't like that. We didn't do this. It's still not where it's at. I think she's got it under control. She's handling it well. She's doing a fantastic job. This is her first year as a Division I coach. But she had some swag coming in. She had some success. And so that's what James Madison's coming in. They've got success right now. They've got a little swag about them. I respect it, but yes, makes you want to take them down, right? Also from the text line, unlike James Madison, App State is the real deal. If they're on their game, they're going to be tough inside and out. And, of course, that's going to be the game on Saturday. 6 o'clock tip. We're going on the air at 5 o'clock Saturday right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. It's a television game, pretty much to feature App State. App State receiving votes along with James Madison. Those are the two top teams in the Sun Belt as far as national perception is concerned. Troy's right there as well. Louisiana still trying to hang on to its 4th spot. Those are your 4 teams right now. If App State wins the tournament, James Madison might get an at-large. If not, maybe an NIT bid. I don't know. Marshall, it's win it all or nothing, I think, at this moment. And with the Thundering Herd, unfortunately, the way it performed last night, I don't know how you turn it around quickly. Obina and a Chili Killen. Just 1 of 5. 2 points out there. 1 of 5. He was out there 12 minutes. As I said earlier, didn't know he was on the floor at some point of the game. Oh, look, Obina's out there. I mean, Cameron Crawford was out there. He had 20 minutes. 5 points, 1 of 8. Here's how the Herd shot. This is going to be painful to listen to. Marshall shot 20 of 64. And unfortunately, that's not going to get it done. Kevon Voiles had 9 points. He was 3 of 10. Jacob Connor, 3 of 7. He had 9 points. Camden Kerfman, 0 of 8 from the three-point line. 3 of 14 for the game. 9 points there. Obina, as I mentioned, 2 points, 1 of 5. Nate Martin, double-double, 16 rebounds, 12 points, 5 of 8 there. Wyatt Frick, 6 points. He was 3 of 5. Cameron Crawford, 5 points, 1 of 8. Ryan Nutter, 6 points, 1 of 6. Kyson Pruitt, 1 shot. Missed it. He was out there 5 minutes. Okay. I'm not dinging anybody for that. He got some playing time, which is good. But the Herd gave up 50%. That's what James Madison hit. 50%. Both halves. Equal. 13 to 26. 3-point line. They shot 13 to 23 for 56.5%. Free throw line, 19 to 27. They got to the free throw line a lot. Blocks, they had 3. Marshall had 3. Rebounds, Marshall had 39. They had 40, so it was back and forth. James Madison had more defensive boards than Marshall did, 33 to 24. Marshall had more offensive rebounds than James Madison, 15 there, 7 for the Herd. Just a disappointing game for the Thundering Herd. Good crowd, 4,595, a little bit more than I expected on a Wednesday night. I think Saturday should be a good game. And we're going to have tickets for you, by the way. I've got a 4-pack I'm giving away this hour, so if you are familiar with how we do it, our texter of the day usually wins, and you can be a part of the program by texting in 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Now, I want to turn our attention when we continue to track and field for a few minutes. Abby Herring is joining me. We're going to talk to her about her accomplishments at the recent indoor championship in the Sun Belt. She set a new mark for herself. The 5K, she finished 3rd in the 3K. You got to give her a couple more Ks. 3, no, I need to run further. I'll go further, faster. We'll talk to her when we continue. And then we'll get more of your text in. And again, that's 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. This is The Drive. ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back to our Thursday edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We're going to get to your text in just a few minutes. We got a lot across the entire spectrum today to talk about, but I want to take a few minutes to talk to my next guest. She's pretty fast. She finished first the Sun Belt Indoor Championship with a new time of 16 minutes and 6 seconds in the 5K. She won the gold there. And then in the 3K, 9 minutes and 32 seconds, she got a bronze there. Abby Herring is with us. Congratulations. You're bringing home some medals and an outstanding performance from all your teammates as Marshall is growing in track and field. You're a big part of that, scoring that gold medal and that bronze. And the first question for you is, did you think you had enough in you just in a short time to trim even more time off of your 5K?
If you didn't know, I ran the 5K 2 weeks prior at our home meet. I ran around 16:20, and no, I didn't really think that I could save much more time off of that. But I think the adrenaline of just being at the conference meet and like knowing there was a lot of fast girls behind me who were also wanting that gold medal kind of helped me run a little bit quicker.
What was that experience like? And you've been in a lot of meets, but this is the conference championship, so you know there's a lot on the line here, and these are the best of the best in the league. What was that experience like? Did you feel any extra pressure, or as you mentioned, the adrenaline? Was it fully just excitement?
Yeah, I think a little bit of all of those emotions, actually. I'm a fifth year, and so this is my last year competing at the collegiate level. And so a little bit of pressure. I hadn't gotten a gold medal prior to this meet. And so a little bit of pressure there to kind of try and win. But the girl who got second, she's very decorated. She got, she's won the past couple Sun Belt Conference meets. And so I think my coach and I, Kayla Bowen, we kind of decided it was best for me to just go out from the gun and see how long we both could hold on to that pace. So, yeah, a little bit of pressure, excitement, all of those emotions were kind of running through me.
Any trash talk on the track? Does that happen?
Not necessarily in distance running. I can't speak for the other events, but I will say most distance runners are pretty good to each other. I got done running, and the girl who got second and even third and I were all chatting after the race and, congratulating each other. So there wasn't any trash talk going on.
Yeah, I was curious because you smoked her. Come on, you won new meet and school record. Not only did you beat her, you beat the best time at the meet and, of course, set a school record. You beat your own record, got the gold. I mean, I don't know how I would react in that situation. I might be, I don't know, Coach Bowen would probably just say, no, that's fine, Paul. Just act like you've been here, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was super stoked about it. I didn't even know that I had gotten the meet record until later that night when I saw a post about it. I was just super excited with the PR, and of course, to walk away with that gold medal was really exciting.
Wait a minute, they didn't even tell you? You had to wait and read about the by the way, I set a new meet and school record. Okay.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't even thinking about it. I didn't know that I didn't know it was a thing until later that evening, but yeah, it was really cool to hear that, and I guess get the meet record was super, super awesome.
Now you get the bronze medal as well in the 3K, and you did that in 9 minutes and 32 seconds. And I kind of feel like if you had a couple more, you had some more distance, maybe you would have finished first. I mean, you feel like, you're obviously stronger in the 5K than the 3, right? You kind of feel like you need more distance. Is that's more your game?
Yeah, I would say I'm more of a distance-oriented runner. Even on the outdoor track, they bump the distances up. So I'll run the 10K outdoors, and I feel like the longer distances are definitely my forte. I have more time to make moves and maybe not as much leg speed. But yeah, I don't know if had the race been longer, what the outcome would have been. Definitely doing the 5K the first day and then the 3K the next day. Legs were feeling rough, but yeah, it was a good race all in all, I think. And before the last, I want to say like 200, 300 meters, I wasn't in a spot to get a medal, but then going around the last turn, I had passed a girl and then ended up getting third place. So, yeah, I was pretty excited about that.
So now that you've got the conference meet over with, what's next? Have you qualified for for the next level? How far can you go now?
So for me and the rest of the athletes on Marshall's team, we have about 3 weeks until we get. I wouldn't even say a break because we're going to go straight into another training block. But we have about 3 weeks to kind of recoup. No traveling, no meets, and then we'll just jump right into outdoor season. And so we're going to open up at Charlotte. Not quite sure the day, but about less than a month. We'll be at Charlotte doing running another meet. And so these next couple weeks are kind of, going to be a harder training block for us, something with the mileage, getting back into doing workouts, kind of settling into routine before transitioning into racing again.
How excited about that? Just with everything that happened with the indoor, how excited are you now just to change it up a little bit and take this momentum with you? I mean, can you take this momentum forward, or is it you back to square one?
Oh, absolutely. I think, well, at least now, the individuals or the athletes who competed were taking, just a day or two to just kind of rest, let our bodies recover from, racing and traveling. But yeah, definitely taking the momentum moving forward. It's not only like physically are we, ready to jump back into training, but also I think mentally too. We're all have the mindset that we're excited and seeing how we finished. I believe we scored 62 points at our conference meet. Maybe it was 64, but anyway, it was the highest finish and most points scored at a conference meet that our team had ever done. And so I think we're all kind of hyped to see what we can do during outdoor season as well.
Just for you personally, with the success that Marshall is having, not only personally for you, but as your team has progressed and there are so many exciting possibilities for this team in the future. It's wonderful to think where Marshall Track has been and where it's at now, and it's even moving forward. How rewarding is it for you just to know that people are paying attention more to Marshall Track, paying attention to you, paying attention to the sport in general? Usually this is something we pay attention to during the Olympics, and then every few years, oh yeah, track and field, love watching that during the Olympics. Now this is year round. You're treating new fans. Fans have to become a little bit more educated on this. You're having a big part of that, at least as far as the Marshall side of this is concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. I know, at least from my perspective, I've noticed a huge following recently with the track and field community from our Huntington community. And so, yeah, I mean, it's really cool to just see how many people are giving their support to our program. And I think that the men's team coming back had a big impact on that as well. People kind of got excited when they saw the men's track team came back and started following us a little bit more. And also, over the past couple of years, our team has just improved drastically. Coach Bowen and I were actually talking earlier how 4 years ago or 5 years ago, I was the first Marshall distance runner to make the finals in the mile at our indoor conference meet. And then this year we had all three girls, Kylie Maston, Hannah Weiler, and Hannah Toth, all make that final in the mile. And so just over the past couple of years, our program has just grown exponentially, and I think that's caught a lot of people's attention.
My guess is Abby Herring. She got a gold medal in the 5K, the 3K. She finished with a well-earned bronze, and now she's got to get ready for the outdoor season. Now, tomorrow on the show, thankfully, I can have Kylie on as well ahead of you. I mean, ahead of you before spring. I'm excited because now I don't know too much about her. You can give me some insight right now. So I'm glad I'm talking to you now. Give me some insight on her. Give me something that I can maybe hit her with, surprise her with.
Yeah, so Kylie actually, she transferred to Marshall in the spring semester of her sophomore year. So she, I had met her on her visit when she came here as a senior in high school, and she decided to go to a different university, Ball State, and then she got in the portal her sophomore year and decided to come to Marshall. And I mean, ever since she came here, she has just shaved off so much time. I believe her PR in the mile was, right up below sub 5, maybe 4:58, 4:56, and now she's running 4:46. So she's shaved off at least 10 seconds in her mile. She's an all-around amazing athlete. She's a good leader. And, she had an amazing performance this past weekend at the conference meet. We were actually roommates at the hotel, and we were going to bed that first night, and it was right after I won the 5K. And, of course, she was the first one at the finish line to congratulate me. But she was saying how, she's nervous for the mile, nervous for the H. She doesn't know how she's going to do. She's, all the nerves are rushing through her, but then she absolutely killed it the next day and was able to walk away with a gold and a bronze medal, just as I did.
It's amazing. Fantastic. Abby, thanks for coming on a few times and sharing and teaching some of us who maybe just follow it on a casual basis a lot more so, we can become year-long fans of you and the sport and everything involved with Marshall Track and Field. I appreciate your time, and hopefully we're getting you back here soon. You got to go win more stuff now. That's kind of how it works. You win stuff, then you can come back and take over the show.
Yep, absolutely. I'll try my best during outdoor.
Abby, thanks for doing it again, and I'll talk to you soon, hopefully.
Yep, you're welcome. Bye.
That's Abby Herring. She's got to go win more stuff now so she can take over. When we continue, we'll get your text in. We got a lot of texts coming up from our text line, 304-396-TALK, on today's edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Our text line is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Welcome back to this Thursday edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Let's get to that text line. We got a lot of people with a lot of things to say. Appreciate everyone joining me today. Let's start off with the new game coming out, EA Sports. It's going to be college football. Your favorite team's going to be in it. That means all those dream matchups you want to play. You want to play Marshall and Notre Dame again? Do it. You want to relive that Marshall-Western Kentucky rivalry one more time? Put it together. You get to be the coach. You get to be the athletic director. You get to be it all, I think. Texture says, tarps in the end zone on new EA game will look terrible. Yeah. For a lot of people, that might be the first exposure to Marshall in a long time. Remember that was a thing? I'm going to go back to a quick story here. When I was a younger Paul Swann, I could go to these openings, late night openings. Hey, the new game is out. You can buy it first. We're going to be open at this time. We're going to get it. I'd get the game. And why are you getting that version? Well, that's the platform I have. Well, you're going to play in generic Marshall Stadium. Oh, is that a thing? Well, yeah. The new game, the new platform doesn't have the real Marshall Stadium. If it's in the game, it's in the game. That's their motto. So it better be in the game, right? Look, I want the tarps in the game. I want the authentic Marshall football experience. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Texture says, cannot understand how our local paper did not have any mention of the men's and women's basketball games from last night, yet the out-of-town newspaper, the Charleston Gazette, had a nice write-up of both games. I think that has to do with the printing schedule because everything's printed out of Charleston. So I think that has to do with HD Media's printing schedule. I'm not certain what the print schedule is for both papers, but I think the deadlines are going to be different. So if it doesn't make the one paper, it's going to make the other paper. And, of course, there's the digital. Let me get back to you on that, but I don't want to throw anybody under the bus over there at HD Media, only because I don't know the print schedule. And, honestly, I hate it. I hate the fact that sometimes things get missed. I think the newspaper is a valuable valuable thing to have. I think that the newspaper provides a great service. We're all in the media business here. We're in radio over here. They're in print and television stations. We're all in a way competing, but at the same time, I think we've got a great relationship with one another. So it's not bloodthirsty competition. So I don't feel bad for saying that. I hate the fact that their print schedule is a little different now because the printing is in Charleston. So that would be something I would issue those complaints with HT Media. Let them know how you feel. If there's enough demand, maybe they can adjust what they're doing. That's across the board, and that's just not sports, but that's across the board as well. But I do know it's based on deadlines, it's based on their print schedule, and it's a little different because the printing press is in Charleston. It's not based in Huntington. Back to the text line. Texter says, Paul, I quit watching the men's team play after the Coastal loss. This team is painful to watch, can't shoot, and that's most of the season. Team doesn't defend well, mismatched roster. I made the women's team appointment viewing. They're good. If you have to choose between the men and the women, and they're on at the same time, if you're not at the Marshall game and you're watching, I get it. Kim Caldwell's got an exciting brand of basketball right now, and I'm not trying to get down on Dan or the squad, the men. I hate the fact that you have to choose between one or the other if you're watching. And of course, this is more for those who, if you're attending the men's game and the women's game's going on at the same time, they're on the road, I get that. But if you're a little bit further from the action and you're trying to choose, do I want to watch the men? Do I want to watch the women? They're on the same time. I mean, Kim Caldwell's squad is exciting right now. Credit to her. Look, this team has a legitimate shot right now of winning the regular season crown and the tournament crown. Legitimate shot. I'm not crowning them just yet, but legitimate shot. And hopefully, both teams can win their tournament. But if I'm putting money down right now, I'm putting it on the women. I think they've got the better shot. Back to our text line, Paul, how exciting would it be to play a high school football game at Marshall or West Virginia with an inflated 10K in the stands? Bluefield is the best location. Now, if the game is at either Marshall or West Virginia, I think you can draw more. And yes, I know I sound a little optimistic, but maybe you can draw more. Maybe you can get more. You get a team like Martinsburg, maybe you can get more. Everyone comes and supports that program. Well, if Huntington High's in the championship. They're playing for a title. I'm sure you can get a lot more in the stands for that. I'm sure a lot of people would turn out for that. But I like what you're saying. Bluefield is a great location. I'm not going to deny that. Maybe it is the best location, but I think the opportunity to play at Marshall or West Virginia might be something to help grow the game. Problem is, we've got I don't know what they're going to call it now. Is it going to be the Super 8? You got the Super 6. It's now 4 classes. You get the Super 8. Location-wise, it might be best in Charleston. Facility-wise, not so sure. Bluefield, that's not a bad location. I still like the Marshall and the West Virginia option as well. Texter says, congratulations, Abby. Great job. Laidley Field, minimum standard. There was some politics involved with that to get it to Charleston. Marshall, West Virginia, way better choice. As for men's hoops, good crowd for a Wednesday, but they have to play better, and looking forward to the Lady Hoops radio broadcast. I'm excited about that. Kim Caldwell has something going here. And they're going to be exciting. It's going to be great to hear Steve Cotton call those games. It's going to be fast-paced, great action. I'm looking forward to it, and I hope that we can do that in the future as well. Definitely they deserve it. They get all the attention we can give them. And if they can win the tournament, they're going to the NCAA tournament. I'll tell you this right now. If Marshall wins the tournament in Pensacola, they'll go to the NCAA tournament. We'll be able to follow them as well. So however far they can go, we'll be able to follow them. And again, I hope I'm not speaking out of turn or breaking someone's surprise, but the impression I was given is it's basically we're going to do it. We're going to be at the tournament. Cool. And we're going to carry him as well, far as we can go. So I'm excited. I hope you guys get excited as well about that. Back to our text line. Texter says, Paul, the men's basketball team really stinks, and I'm willing to bet they won't win another game. But I will be there this Saturday. Go Herd. That's a good attitude. I think that's where sometimes, I don't know if Dan gets lost in translation. I hope Dan isn't misunderstood to a degree where you think that he's chastising fans. I hope that's not the case. I don't think so, because he's like, look, there's negative vibes going on right now. Good fans, I'm of the mindset that you show up to support Marshall, and it doesn't matter the opponent. You're there to watch the Marshall team. And I've heard this argument years past. Well, Marshall plays some better opponents. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would like to see Marshall play better opponents. I'd like to see more compelling matchups, all of that. But at the end of the day, yeah, you're going to the Marshall game because it's Marshall playing. And I think that should be the point. We're not doing well right now. You should still come out. Hopefully you still come out and support us. I get that. And I don't know what the happy fix here is between losing interest in a team that's not performing well or hanging in there and supporting the team. Because you deserve to choose what you do with your entertainment dollar and your time. If the team's not entertaining you, is it worth your time? And I don't think that anyone should say, look, I'm a bad fan because I don't, you don't go, I'm a bad fan, right? Nobody should say that. There's no reason for anyone to say, well, Marshall's having a tough time here, but you're a bad fan for not coming. Nobody should say that. I've never liked the I'm a better fan than you argument, or the whole idea that, you have to come. If you want to call yourself a fan, you have to come. And if you don't call yourself a fan, I get it. There are going to be some people who are just going to be upset that, look, why aren't you here supporting the team? How dare you? And there are going to be other people like, look, I like Marshall basketball, but 26-point beating last night was not fun. It was not fun to watch that game last night. And there are a lot of people who left early, and I get that. And it was a Wednesday night, and there are a lot of people who were at services and other things, and I get that as well. I don't think the whole idea of you got to be here. If you want to support Herd basketball, you have to be here. But if you're there and you're having a good time, that's great, and you should go if you're having a good time. All right, I've got 4 tickets to give. I'm going to make somebody happy. If they don't have tickets now, I'm going to give you tickets. So stay by your phone. And since we didn't have tickets to give away yesterday, we were at Marshall. I've got 2 4-packs to give. So we'll randomly choose here the next couple of minutes. Thanks, everyone who tuned in today. Been a kind of a crazy day around here, so I appreciate everyone sticking around. I'll be back with you tomorrow. We'll do it all over again here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Retransmitting on Glorious FM on 94.1 W227BS Huntington. This is 930 WRVC Huntington, celebrating 100 years of broadcasting.